Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. So picture this, our OP in a nursing home, short-staffed, pulling double shifts like a superhero. Enter Devin, the real-life sleeping beauty. Dude's job description is basically administer one medication, then nap like your life depends on it. Not the hero we needed. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. This was my last shift. I quit. I work in a nursing home as a QMAP, Qualified Medication Assistant Personnel. We're super short-staffed. For my first 2 weeks of employment, I had to work 7 days a week because there was no other night shift QMAP. Finally, we hired a new person who we'll call Devin. Devin was useless. I mean, genuinely, truly, wholly useless. The only duty he did was administer medications. We only have to pass one med on night shift. The rest of the night, he'd either sit on his phone or sleep. He never cleaned, did paperwork, checked on residents, did follow-ups on PRN medications, charted anything, and he even argued with caregivers about who would wipe the butt of bedbound residents. To make it worse, he took most of my shifts. He worked 5 nights a week as a QMAP, while I worked the other 2 nights, plus 3 as a caregiver. On the 2 nights where I was QMAP, I had to desperately catch up on everything he let pile up through the week. What normally took maybe 3 hours of work per night suddenly took almost my entire shift. I tried to talk to him multiple times about his lack of work, but it was like talking to a wall. I'd spend 15 minutes begging him to, at the very least, clean the effing kitchen so we don't get ants or mice, and he'd just nod and say, "Yeah, I get it," in the most monotone voice. Admittedly, I wound up blowing up at him twice, but I feel like it was deserved, because he wasn't caring for the residents, and he was dead-butt lying to my face about his work. Everyone, including my boss, knew he was completely useless, but we didn't have enough staff members to fire him. One Saturday, where it was only me as caregiver and Devin as QMAP, I'd been called in earlier to work a double shift because we're short-staffed. 30 minutes before shift change, I got a call from my boss saying that Devin quit on the spot. To my understanding, the interaction went as follows. Devin: "I'm changing my schedule to only working 3 days. Boss: "You can't just change your schedule without talking to us." Devin: "Then this was my last shift. I quit." So all of a sudden, I was left as the only staff member on shift. I had to do the equivalent of 3 people's jobs. Normally there are 2 caregivers, but like I said, we're short-staffed. Not to mention I'd already worked 8 hours on evening shift. It was a long, exhausting night, and I'm pretty sure I only got everything done thanks to a multi-hour-long adrenaline rush and spite. And I didn't get a break after that because I was once again faced with the fact that I was the only night QMAP, so I'd have to work every night until we found someone else. However, after a few nights of consistent work, I remembered how effing easy work is when you don't have a mountain of crap to get done. Cut to 5 days ago, and I'm having a medical emergency. Without going into too much detail, I have a PEG tube, and it's been persistently infected, and it's gotten worse. I wound up in the hospital, and my boss had to cover me that night. I came back in the night after, despite feeling like complete butt. Once I got on my shift, my boss called me with some news. Devin texted her asking for his job back. Turns out he quit without backup income and was facing the consequences of his own actions. My boss asked me if I wanted to let him come back since I was sick and still the only night QMAP. I weighed my choices and came to the conclusion that despite feeling like crap and being forced to work every night, it was still less exhausting and strenuous than trying to pick up after Devin. It was a final, beautiful, petty moment of revenge for the hours of stress and strain he put me through. I got to put the nail in his coffin. The idiot clearly didn't want to work, and in no uncertain terms, he had told our boss that Saturday had been his last day. Who was I to say otherwise? Edit: does he know if it was me? Yes, I texted him separately to inform him. It was professional, but very passive-aggressive. Devin, I made the decision with boss not to hire you back. You told me several times that you didn't want to work here, and your work ethic reflected this. On top of that, you quit. That's a pretty definitive final statement. Happy travels. Why does your boss not cover your shift more to at least give you 1 day off? I know you said you're short-staffed, but it's not your responsibility to keep the shifts filled, it's theirs. And our second story. Wait, were you trying to sell me a phone? I was packing for a trip. The train station was 45 minutes away and my train due to leave in about an hour and a half. I realized I couldn't find my charger for my switch light, so I put my bags in the car and headed to Walmart, figuring I'd run in, quickly buy a charger, then head out and drive from Walmart to the train station. Now, I just finished an insanely busy week. I'd been preparing for my trip, finishing up a really rough week at work, and had multiple desserts I needed to make for various birthdays. So I was frazzled. Hence, when I saw people dressed in some sort of uniform standing around the electronics section, I didn't realize until after I asked where to find what I needed that they weren't Walmart employees. They were from some phone company. I'm not sure what they were doing there exactly, but they didn't work for Walmart. I was about to admit my error and apologize when I saw the woman open her mouth to speak, but instead of saying something about not working there, she asked, "What's a switch?" I was taken aback. It's not like switches were some obscure technology only people in the know have access to. It's for video games, I said, trying to act out with my hands what it looked like to play one. The woman was silent for a moment, then asked, "How old are you?" Oh God, I thought, this is one of those people who thinks gaming should be for kids. I'm in my 30s, I admitted. I like video games, though. Better than, getting drunk at a party and causing problems. The woman studied me for a bit longer, then she said, "Oh, you look like you're 15. That made my breath catch in my throat. I get mistaken for being a teenager or a college student way too much, and before anyone comments how lucky I am, it causes a lot of problems. Plus, it's annoying when people comment on it all the flipping time. Plus, in this case, it was really uncalled for. Realizing I was getting mad, I walked away at that point. I felt if I stayed, I'd say something I'd regret. Plus, I was in a hurry, and this woman was wasting my time. "Wait, what kind of phone do you use?" the woman called after me. I walked away faster and ducked between two aisles to calm down. At that point, I heard a male voice. I assume it was the man in the same uniform who'd been standing not far behind her. "I think you offended her," he told the woman. "I didn't mean to. I don't know why she just walked away," the woman protested. At that moment, an actual Walmart employee came down the aisle I was in. He was stocking shelves, but was kind enough to take me to where the switch chargers were. I'm not sure what the lady's sales strategy was intended to be, but it clearly needed some work. In the very least, she may need some training in handling customers. Then again, maybe she was just messing with me for mistaking her for an employee. It's unclear why she needed to say you looked 15. Some people need to work on their filters. And our last story. Neighborhood Karen created her own HOA and fined me after I called her out. I live in Baltimore City. About 5 years ago, a woman moved into my neighborhood. She started Facebook fundraising groups and quarter auctions to support her dying child, her at-risk pregnancy, her sick dog, etc. She seemed like a typical scammer. Most people I know ignored her. Fast forward to 2 years, she creates this group she calls a wellness group, but she runs it like an HOA. She's besties with a city councilwoman. She uses her friendship to have the city fine people who question her. She also gets the trash men and other city services to do special work for her, like they clean up her yard and the alley right behind her house. I made a comment on the Neighborhood Next Door page about her ruining the neighborhood. I pointed out how her wellness group shouldn't be representing all the residents because she created it herself, and how she forced herself into the community association by threatening people. I also pointed out how the neighborhood is falling apart because no one wants to work with the community association since she joined, and how the city fines homeowners because she complains to the councilwoman. In the last 2 years, a lot of the homeowners moved away because of her antics, and now those houses are Section 8 rentals. The city fined me twice since I posted those comments. I also found out she's the main moderator on Nextdoor now, and she deleted my comments. So I don't really have proof I made them unless I can get Nextdoor to prove she deleted it. The city fined me $50 for my trash can lid being open. It wasn't open. We have city-issued trash cans with attached lids. The only way the lid would be open is if the city fine inspector opened it before she took the picture. The city's supposed to put the pictures online, but their IT department has a glitch, so they can't upload them. They don't even have a picture of the alleged lid open, but they claim that they'll have it in court if I demand a hearing. The second fine is for high grass and weeds about 2 weeks after the first fine. My grass wasn't high. The city has the same excuse for why they don't have a picture uploaded. I talked to neighbors. Other people went through the same scenario. They complained about the Karen overstepping, then the city fined them. For background, none of us were fined before she started this. I have a week to pay off the first fine or request a hearing. I'm scared if I request a hearing, the city will increase the fine. Yesterday, I got a letter from Animal Control that my yard is unsanitary and I need to clean the dog waste immediately or I'll get another fine. I don't have a dog. The whole scenario feels targeted towards anyone who complains about the neighborhood Karen. Update. So my neighbors and I gathered all our proof and brought the issue to the town council meeting. We laid out a strong case, shining a light on the messed up power play and the lack of any real reason for those fines. The town council saw how serious it was and decided to dig into it. As the news got around, more folks in the neighborhood started sharing their own horror stories. The city bigwigs, feeling the heat, stepped in to make sure things were fair. Those bogus fines got wiped off the slate, and they put in some rules to stop anyone pulling the same power trip. And here's the kicker. Karen's sneaky moves got exposed. The city council, not buying into her act anymore, held her responsible for the mess she caused. Karen finally got hit with the consequences for her power-hungry antics, and now the community can breathe easy without Karen's drama. What a satisfactory resolution. It's great to hear that the town council took your concerns seriously, investigated the issue, and took appropriate action. Exposing Karen's actions and holding her accountable adds a cherry on top. Well done, OP. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.